When you work in the liberal arts, if you're right wing, that's kind of like being gay in football. It's been canned. They've took it out the back like Curly's dog and shot it. If I went on Live at the Apollo, there is every chance I would have gone out there and just recited Mein Kampf. Huge announcement, people. I'm so excited to finally be able to share this information with you. The contracts have been signed. Usually in this job, when you get an announcement like I have now, you really want to tell everyone, but I have to keep it secret. But I'm so excited, a big moment in my career. I will be on the next season of Live at the Apollo. My agent has spoke to me. The people at Open Mic Productions who run Live at the Apollo have said it's about time. Elliot has been working away in the clubs. He's been doing online. He's been building an audience. We want him at the Apollo. We need him at the Apollo. If there is one thing that is going to save television, is Elliot Steele doing 20 minutes edited down to 8. I will be there the next season. Me on the BBC. No, of course not. It's been canned. They've took it out the back like Curly's dog and shot it. This is what should have happened. They should have said, Elliot, you're doing Live at the Apollo, and the car turns up, I get in it, I'm in my little suit, I'm getting ready, my mum fixes myself, gives me a kiss on the cheek. I'm with Jack D and Dara O'Brien. We drive to the Apollo and we get out, and I'm like, hey, what was it like when you first did it? And they were like, oh, that was a long time ago now. And I walk into the back of the theatre, and the theatre's all sparse, and I just go, ah, shit, and then Dara O'Brien shoots me in the back of the head, like in Goodfellas. But it's gone. And it's a shame. It was a comedy institution. What's left? We've got Would I Lie to You and this. That's all there is now. It's either Lee Mack pulling apart David Mitchell, or it's me coming here ranting. Those are the only things that are happening now. Or Ramesh Ranganathan. Ramesh Ranganathan all day. The TV's just got, everything's going to be Ramesh Ranganathan soon. Love Island is just going to be 16 Ramesh Ranganathans going in, competing. Which I'd fucking love Ramesh. I think he's one of the best comics in the country. But there's this weird thing that's happened with Live at the Apollo being cancelled. There was a lot of comedians on Facebook celebrating like it was the fall of the Berlin Wall. Felt like they were pulling down Saddam's statue because Live at the Apollo had been cancelled. They hadn't been on it. I think that's a shame because it was this amazing thing. It was a pinnacle of UK comedy. I remember as a kid, I would sit down and watch it, and there were so many great sets on it. The Catherine Ryan set, I think, is one of the best sets ever. Kerry Godliman's first at Live at the Apollo is one of the best sets I've ever seen. Reginald D. Hunter. I grew up and I stopped watching it, not because the acts had dropped off, but because I started stand-up and I just hated everyone on it. Not because they're bad comedians, but because I know them personally and I'm jealous of their success. The only good we can take from this is Vittorio hasn't beaten me to it. That's the only good thing. He's played the Apollo. He's sold it out. He sold out the Apollo while I'm doing Leicester Square Theatre, but at least Vittorio Angeloni has not got a Live at the Apollo credit over me. So thank God for that. If anyone's watching wondering why I haven't done it, I can now tell this story. I went out with a producer, a very lovely man, and he took me for a beer, and we sat down, and I thought, well, he's going to ask me to do it, and maybe he was going towards him. We were talking about where the industry is and the budget cuts with the BBC, and I said, well, the thing with things like Live at the Apollo, compared to a lot of things, it's quite cheap to make. And he put his drink down, and he looked me in the eye, and he went, Live at the Apollo is not a cheap show to make. I watched my chance disappear because I had to get involved in the finances of making a show that I had no right to do, know nothing about budgeting a TV show, and then I tried to get out of it by going, yeah, but compared to a drama, like you haven't got to pay Stephen Graham. And then my agent was like, I don't know why you're not on it this year. And I was like, boy, sure is crazy. And I remember that conversation and I think, yep, that's where it went wrong. That's where I fucked that up. At some point, I'm going to have to realize the problem is me. If I went on Live at the Apollo, there is every chance I would have gone out there and just recited Mein Kampf. I just can't help but destroy things. And I don't just mean relationships that are romantically. I have the ability to destroy everything. King Midas, everything I touch bursts to flames. Instead of gold, it just becomes flames. There we go, a bit of Greek mythology for you there, because I know the Odyssey's out and about in a minute. I know how to work an algorithm. For it to be cancelled in his BBC budget cuts, it's just a shame because comedy's this really disrespected thing at the minute, and I think there's such a great range of diverse, brilliant stand-ups that the UK has to offer. The Edinburgh Fringe is going on right now. You can go up there and see loads of fantastic, diverse, middle-class comedians finding a way for them to feel like they're oppressed. You can go watch someone do an hour about them having ADHD. That's like being black in the 1920s in America. It's very similar. It's incredibly similar. You could go to the Edinburgh Fringe and watch this. Someone who does an entire show about how they now take Ritalin. Just buy your speed off the dark web like a real person. You fucking losers. The celebration of it being cancelled, I think, is a shame. And there is this thing. And look, we could easily get 50,000 views on this channel this week. And I am tempted to just start the right-wing grift, to just start the grit. If I just came on here like some people do and went, yeah, this is what happens when you make telly woke. And what they really mean by telly being woke is there was a Muslim on it. That's what people mean by woke now. Like every year there'll be Sainsbury's will do a Christmas advert and there'll be a mixed race man in it and people will be like, it's gone woke. You imagine being that upset? Just don't watch it. You don't. I mean, none of you fucking did. That's why it's gone. That is gone. I was up for it this season. Do you know how I found out live at the Apollo got cancelled? By the way, my agent, God bless them, they were pushing me hard for it. They're good people. They're pushing me for it. I was asking, they're like, don't worry. We're inquiring. You're at the top of the list. And then my agent went, guess this is why we haven't heard anything from the Apollo, and sent the article of the Apollo being cancelled. So we all found out, everyone in the industry found out through the same article as everyone else. That's how I found out. I was really hoping to get that this year for no other reason than I wanted the money and the clip. Nobody watched the fucking show. You could go on that show and just read Clifford the Big Red Dog and people would still go, hey, great set on the Apollo, because nobody watched it, but they watched the clips. And perhaps by doing and saying these things, I am also severing several other ties with the television industry. This is what's happening in the media landscape. Nobody watches commercial television anymore. I don't know, it's BBC and you pay your license fee. And I thought one of the good things was live at the Apollo. And now a lot of right-wing grifters are out there saying it's gone because it's woke. And it wasn't, like, it had really good right-wing comics on it. Simon Evans, they're a fantastic comedian, centre-right. Jeff Norcott is openly a conservative. He was on it. And Andrew Lawrence, again, regardless of what you think of Andrew, I know he causes a bit of a furore. He's a really good joke writer. He's a really good comedian. These are good comedians. It did have right-wing voices on it. And there's also the right-wing voices who aren't out as right-wing voices in comedy. When you work in the liberal arts, if you're right-wing, that's kind of like being gay in football. You have to hide it. If you are right-wing in something like stand-up comedy, and you don't want people to know, you hide it and you come out eventually. It's what I imagine heated rivalry would be like if it was set in stand-up comedy. Be two comedians, both going for the same gigs. They both want to vote reform, but they can't let their peers know because they're worried about the backlash. So they're meeting up in the hotels, they're putting on club weekends, except it's not like fancy hotels, it's like a Travelodge. They do a gig in Preston, and then they go to Travelodge Preston and they knock on each other's room and it's all secret. And they sit in there, and then they go on TikTok and watch Nigel Farage reels. That'd be heated rivalry if it was in comedy. It would be just them going, shh, we can't let anyone know about what if somebody finds out. What, do we have to hide that we're doing this with each other? As they're sat there on their alt account watching Rupert Lowe. And then they vigorously have butt sex, by the way. They vigorously, because they're right-wing, they're also repressed homosexuals. That's what they are. The right-wing is guys who get into really good shape to fuck each other and then feel bad about it. And the minute that they accept that that's what they're doing, we'll have paradise. But they can't accept it, so we have to march towards fascism. It's a shame. That's all being right-wing is nowadays. If you ever watch a right-wing, like, TikToker, it's just some guy getting into really good shape, running with the boys, and it's just fuck already. Just fuck it. Just grab each other by the fucking hair and just fuck. What are we doing? Bum each other, for crying out loud. Just suck each other off. The good old days where men would meet up in secret and suck each other off. And I yearn for those times. You'd have a family, you'd have a wife, you'd have some kids, and every couple of weeks, you'd go for your walk to clear your head, and you'd get absolutely ravaged by the man you're secretly in love with. I've been up for it for several years. I would have loved to do it. I think it is a really good show. I think it's the pinnacle of UK stand-up. There are a lot of comedians who've also, every series, worked their way to do it. People like Scott Bennett, an absolutely fantastic comedian who was overlooked by parts of the industry and got so good that they had to put him on it. Like, there's fucking incredible people who are doing it. Sarah Millican, Kevin Bridges, just fucking amazing comedians. And it's now where the comedians get their break from. Now I have to hope that I'm at a gig that has a camera and is being recorded and someone in the audience does something funny. That's the only way to make it as a comedian now. It's not that you get a chant, it's that you're at a gig and someone in the audience does something mental. Or my name gets pulled out of a bucket and I get to go on Kill Tony and dance around saying the N-word. I go out there and I'm like, oh, well, the black people, they're crazy, right? And then everyone at the Kill Tony goes, oh, yeah, yeah. Finally someone's saying it. You can't say this stuff anymore, even though this is one of the most watched shows and it's on Netflix. Yeah, they're trying to cancel us. Yeah, we're here. Look at all these comedians, all these multimillionaires who've been cancelled. Yeah, finally someone's saying it. I just feel like Live at the Apollo was a nice middle ground for us to have. But it's a shame that comedy is getting less accessible for people. Like I've spoke about before, I've done a video if you want to watch it on the Edinburgh Fringe and how that's not accessible to working class comedians. The shows that could then, potentially they could recuperate some money for having done the Fringe. That's what would happen. You would have to go to the Edinburgh Fringe, do it, and hope that you got on Live at the Apollo to pay off the Edinburgh Fringe. And now that's gone. Where are comedians meant to get their chance to meet their audience? And I know we're going to say it's through online and that there is good things for that, but then we're playing to the algorithm. The algorithm is now our producer. The world is fucked, and Live at the Apollo was a good thing that showcased a range of diverse stand-up comedians in the UK. And I think that was important, that people would watch a show and see someone like them on television and go, oh, I can do stand-up comedy. That's an important thing. And that's why whenever people do this thing, oh, it's gone woke. Yeah, the guy... I don't want to say, people of different backgrounds are allowed to be on telly. I know that annoys some of you. I genuinely, I don't know why. I don't know why it bothers you that a woman was doing stand-up comedy and you've gone, oh, I don't want to pay the license fee anymore. Now that a woman's doing gags, my granddad didn't bleed out in Normandy for this. Live at the Apollo is gone, and I'm sad as a comedian. I'm sad that a lot of my peers aren't going to be able to do it. There's a lot of comedians I know who are good enough to do that show that haven't done that show, and it would have helped them financially. It would have helped them find an audience. So they've been able to get clips from it that do well. The clips look great. And that did become the main thing of doing Live at the Apollo, was like you get these really good clips and these bits of stand-up you can put out, and that can help you find an audience. And now there's a load of comedians celebrating that's gone. Why? This is the thing with comedy. It's like with Paul Smith, right? I think Paul Smith's a really good comedian. When Paul Smith first started doing well, everyone was like, yeah, go on Paul. And then it came cool to turn on Paul. And everyone does it, and people done that with Live at the Apollo. They liked it. Someone like Scott Bennett would get it, they'd cheer them on, and now that it's been cancelled, they're like, yeah, fuck that thing. This is what working in the arts is. It's either a bunch of liberal people who pretend that they're socialists, who are cheering each other on and want to help each other out, but secretly they're really conservative and they don't want their peers to do well because that makes them feel inadequate. Me. Or it's a bunch of people who are conservative who all just want to fuck each other. And that's what being, if you're watching this thinking about getting into the arts, if there's any young comics thinking about what to do, when people say you need to find your voice, those are the two voices. Conservative guy who wants to get fucked in a field, or pretend you're a liberal, do a bit of tax avoidance, and hope that no one ever does better than you from a liberal point of view. And we're not going to be able to showcase that because Live at the Apollo's gone. And it was a fantastic show. It ran for 20 seasons. It used to be hosted by Jack D. And then you've got these sides, you've got these like right-wing commentators who go, yeah, because it was left-wing. It fucking wasn't. It was just stand-up. It was just a TV show with stand-up comedians on it. They weren't all being left-wing. They weren't all being political. Some of them had fucking nothing to say whatsoever. That's 95% of UK stand-up comedies. People with nothing to say other than we drink a lot. That's what most of UK comedy is. It's we drink a lot and what do you do for a living? That's it. It was 20 seasons of that. And it should have had 20 more. And I should have been on at least 8 of those seasons. And that's the real crime. I would have loved to have done it last season and then this season got cancelled. That would have been a real Indiana Jones grab your hat moment. One of the last people in the Apollo, just the last chopper out of Saigon, getting out of there, having to watch everyone else scramble around, working out how they're going to pay rent, and you just go, whew. Let me tell you now, I'd have spent all that money on MCAT. And that's the real show. That's the economy of it. This has now affected some Albanian. The economy of it going, it affects so many people. But anyway, let's hope TLC pick it up. Maybe we could do it in here and we could just do the backdrop of the Apollo. Let's do that. Let me live my dream. We're going to put the backdrop of the Apollo behind me. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome for his debut Live at the Apollo set. Long overdue, Elliot Steele. What do you do, mate? British people drink a lot, don't they? God, we like a beer. Thank you, good night. This has been The Still Show. Let me know in the comments who you'd have liked to have seen on the Apollo, or if you'd like to see it come back. I think that would have been a great set, what I just did there. Like, subscribe to the channel. The views are going up, it's growing. Let's kick this on, because I really wanted to get on that show so I could fuck everyone here off and abandon them and run onto my TV career. That was my dream. But anyway, look, I'm stuck here now. Stuck here. A waste of everyone's talent, mainly mine. This has been The Still Show. Take care.